What have I learned about myself that I didn't know before I had cancer? Probably I'd have to say the biggest thing I've learned about myself that I didn't know before I had cancer was how strong I am. I never really thought of myself as a strong person, to be honest with you. I always thought I was more of a timid, weak person. And so after cancer, I learned that I really am a lot stronger. I had gone through a lot. There were days I took myself down to treatments, had 3 or 4 different things going on in that day, and I was able to do it. And I just felt that I really had a lot more strength than I ever thought I did. I also have to admit, I learned I'm a little more stubborn than I ever thought I was, too. So, my support system throughout this, I had great support. I really have to say, that's just why mainly this dog has been sitting up here off and on. He and the other little dog have been really very supportive and loving. But I have to say, my family, my friends, my work family, my neighborhood, and my church, they have been my support system. They have been really there for me through this whole thing. I have to say, my husband has probably been my biggest supporter. He has been there for the day in and day out type task. He has helped me with simple little things that I never thought I would have to ask someone to help me do. Just simple little things like putting on a sock, and some days having to actually dress me or brush my hair. And so he's been there for the day in and day out. He took me to treatment as much as he could. He was also trying to work during that time, especially after I had retired. We needed him to be able to continue working. And so my sister, she took me to a lot of appointments. I can't even begin to thank her enough for that. And she would take me to a lot of appointments. And I know she would never say this, but she used probably most of her leave taking me on days and helping out. And sometimes when I was in the hospital, she would take a day or two off and sit in the hospital with me so my husband was able to work. My work family, I can't say enough about them. Again, I think I said I had an incredible boss, and I worked with my best friend and many other people, and they had my back, and they had to do my job for me. But they were also there for me through this treatment, too. I would have a particularly hard time. I would come back to work. There would be little special notes or things around my door, or sometimes they would put a "We love you, Sandy" sign on my door. So I would just feel that they have been there for me and they had been thinking about me. And so that was really nice support. And so they were wonderful. They would leave little baskets on my desk of all kinds of goodies. The Sometimes I mentioned one time that I was really, really cold and I couldn't get warm, and one of my coworkers had sent a heated throw for me, and it just showed up at my door one day, and so that was really special. They were very incredible. The students did a little fundraiser to help my husband and I with things from those expenses from traveling back and forth to UVA. A couple of the students also put together a really special basket for me with earbuds and other things to help me through treatments. My neighborhood, I can't say enough about them. They brought meals, and they organized meals, and they also, the ladies in the neighborhood, and some of them, one of them had also fought cancer herself, and they delivered a basket of goodies. One time I came out of the hospital, and someone had come in to the house while we were gone and had just made things look really nice, and I had special little goodies and treats in there for me. And they, like I said, they delivered meals and goodies, and they were there for me. And I would even have meals show up from neighbors that I hadn't even met yet, and that was just such a blessing. And the work family and other people also helped with the meals, and so that was a real blessing. My church family, they were definitely there for me. They also helped out with the meals and prayer. They were always praying for me, and they were sending little cards. The pastor and other people would come by and visit and pray with me, and so that was just a real, real blessing. My family in general, I can't even thank them all enough. I know like I mentioned, my sister and my cousin and my cousins, and everybody was there for me. My son and daughter-in-law, unfortunately, they lived in Colorado, and that was harder, I think, on them than it was on me, but they did travel a couple times when I was going through a really, really hard time. They would travel. I remember when I woke up from my second surgery, they had sent me this little video that they had made that just really made my day. And so they were there for me. I think the distance was hard for them more so than me, but but it was good to know that they were there, and if I was having a particularly bad day, I could just pick up the phone and either one of them would talk me through it. And so I have to say, from my family and work and neighbors and church, I had wonderful support. I have to say, though, all in all, probably my biggest support that got me through this is my faith and the good Lord. And I know that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Him. I know there were a lot of people praying for me, and He had some incredible prayer warriors. I would run into people in town, people I didn't even know. Someone would introduce me and they would say, "Oh, we know you. You've been on our prayer list." And people would call me and they would get updates and want to have updates for their prayer list. And I would find out that churches in whole different areas in different states were praying for me. And I do know that that is the reason that I am here today. The Lord led me to the right doctors. I had no idea who to see, and with each step, one doctor sent me to the next doctor, to the next doctor. So I know that was, the Lord guiding me in the right way that I should go. And so I just really felt blessed with the best prayer warriors anybody could have in their life.